Hey everyone, it's your girl TeraMichelle. Welcome back to my channel, Opinionated Scents, our safe space to discuss all things fragrance, whether we like them or not. In today's video, we're going to be discussing 5 more fragrances from the House of Xarmony Perfumes. I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to jump on the niche bandwagon. I will, of course, always be a designer and celebrity fragrance girl. I'm just not going to turn my back on them, but I have to admit I am having fun with the niche fragrances that I am testing. So if you're interested to learn about these next 5, let's jump right into the video. Just a quick disclaimer. These fragrances are meant to be worn on skin or on your clothes where they can warm up with your body. If you get a sample set and you only try it on a tester or a stick, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you will never know the magic of the transitions of these fragrances if you're not putting them to your body heat. I just had to put that out there because I noticed that there is a true night and day difference in experience from the tester strip to skin. First up, we're going to talk about Odinsleep. Now, Trill said that this is his favorite, and I think it's because it's the first one he ever created, so there's nostalgia there. For me, when I first smelled this fragrance, I was immediately transported back to like 1985 when my great-granddad had his own barbershop. He would be sitting back there with a pipe in his mouth, and he would be listening to the young guys, young to him because he was like in his 70s and they're probably like in their 50s, getting their hair cut and just talking about life and the wife and the game and the this and the that in a barbershop, you know, a man's safe haven. And it just reminded me of a man who would sit back and look and think about what a great life he had and how blessed he was for his wife and his children and his business, and you know, just sitting there in his suit and being, you know, just a happy, very wealthy in the terms of family, life, and love type of way. Just a very happy man. That's exactly what I got in the opening of this. It was powerful. And then in the dry down of this, it just becomes something that is so beautiful. The way that this changes, I'm saying the opening is night and day from the dry down. Now the notes in Odinsleep are grass, vanilla, tonka, peppermint, and tobacco. This is just nice. It's unisex. It's calming. Even though the notes say, you know, grass, I don't really pick up on a super uber duper green grass. What I get in this is definitely the vanilla, the tonka, the peppermint, and this is the cleanest, sweetest tobacco I've ever smelled in my life. It's just it is, you guys, come on, Terror Squad, y'all know I hate tobacco. This man, I said that to him and he said, you're not going to hate my tobacco. Sometimes I hate when people be right, especially when I want to stand firmly in my hatred of something, okay? However, I will give it to him. His use of tobacco in this, however it comes across, is beautiful. It's very calming. It's relaxing. It's nice. The opening is more masculine to me, but again, by the time you get to the mid and the dry down, this is just for everyone. This is an easy breezy, I'm staying at home type of fragrance, and it just evokes great memories in me of my great granddad. Next up, we're going to talk about Loki. Loki is the biggest burst of mint that I've gotten from any of these fragrances so far, and I know that Trill loves to use mint. This is so loud. I've heard people say that they used this fragrance, Loki, to bring their sense of smell back in after having COVID. And I can believe it, baby, because all my nasal passages were open. I found out I had nasal passages I didn't even know about. I'm talking about just Lord. However, that's just that burst of energy you get in the opening. I mean, it is strong, but it's pleasant if you like mint. But that's not how it dries down. Like, Loki is really ever changing from the mid all the way down to the dry down. And I love this. It's the epitome of a unisex fragrance. Now, the notes are mahogany wood, herbs and spices, peppermint, chamomile, jasmine, tobacco, leather, orange, vanilla, grass, and musk. Baby, those come together to make something so sexy for a man or for a woman. I absolutely enjoy the heck out of Loki. This is so good. It's very interesting. I still would prefer this more on a man than on me, but I could wear this. This reminds me of a fragrance that a woman would want to wear if she just went through a breakup and she's trying not to call his butt back over just to be held, or if she's been single for quite some time and just misses the smell of a man. Nothing too overbearing, but something she could spray on the sheets or the pillow next to her, or even lightly spray on herself just to feel that masculinity there. You know what I'm saying? I love Loki. It's really, really good. Next up, we're going to talk about Busay. This fragrance is not for me. It is not for anyone who is around me. This fragrance to me smells like iodine and peroxide. I do not know what is in it that is making it pull that way to me, but it reminds me of nursing homes in the 80s. Those nurses who would wear those skirts and those stockings with those Dr. Scholl shoes and those like paper hats or whatever they were made out of in the hospitals, or maybe even a psychiatric ward. All things I visited in going with my grandmother to visit or take care of various family members. That is what it takes me back to. A very clean area, very disinfected, very disease-free type of, just no. And it never leaves. Whether it was on the stick, whether it was in the air, whether it was on my skin, there's something very peroxidal about this. And even though, you want to know that you're clean, you want everything disinfected, I do not want to smell like peroxide. I couldn't shake it. With everything else that was going in the mid is when things started to come alive for me. But in the dry down, that peroxide iodine vibe came right back. I couldn't deal. Now, for Alex, he said it smelled like every day at work. And I thought interesting because where he works, there's a dock, there's lots of loading and unloading, there's construction, there's building, there's taking apart, there's a lot that's going on. He's the head of security. So there's a lot that's going on down in the compound that he is in charge of. And he's like, any given day at work, I'm walking past this. This is a day in the life of. And for him, it was just a vibe. Like he was like, I could come home smelling like this after spending, a couple of hours in any of these sections or these sectors, depending on what they were doing there. And I thought that was a very interesting interpretation of how he picked it up. So for him, it could be a vibe, but it's not going to be because I can't deal with that peroxide, iodine type of smell that I get from it. So he will not be wearing this fragrance. If you like, look, guys, I would love if you get a sample pack from him and Busay is one of the ones that you choose. Come back to this video and talk to me about it. I just want to get somebody else's perspective because I don't know. Anyway, let's go to the notes. New Orleans French Quarter. Okay. Aged weathered leather. French aristocracy. Imported citrus, salt and ocean, cedarwood, pirate rum, bergamot, lime, clove, gin, bay leaf, and rhubarb. So there are a lot of notes in there, and some are very idealistic. I can tell you that in the middle, when it started to come alive for me, I'm getting the salt and ocean. I'm absolutely getting the cedarwood. I'm getting the rum. I'm getting the clove, the gin, the bay leaf, the lime. The mid of this is where the magic comes alive, but I'm telling you guys, I cannot get rid of the peroxide iodine type of vibe. I've never been to the French Quarter, so I don't know if that's a thing, but these notes are very, very interesting to me, and I wish I got more of all of what's happening here versus what I do, but Busay does not vibe with me at all. I can't. Next up, we're going to talk about Wallace. Wallace is stunning. I looked at the notes for Wallace and I remembered thinking, I don't want that, but I'm going to get it because I'm going to get all of the samples and go through the entire house for my Terra squad, but I know I'm not going to like that. I wouldn't even date a dude named Wallace, so what are we talking about? And I'm so ridiculous, but this was a stunner. And even though it's named Wallace, baby, this is all for me. The opening is very green, very, earthy and, you know, dirty almost, and I mean like dirt, like earth dirt, and green grass and all of that in the opening, but in the sweetest, most non, you know, filthy lumberjack type of way. Like, again, it just makes me want to put my hands in like the most fertile soil. You know, I feel like this is something that Nick Cannon would wear. Matter of fact, I feel like this is what he was wearing, and that's why he got so many kids. Like, it just feels like you're fertile and you have a great soil to, you know, plant something in and let it sprout and grow. But then it turns into something so sexy. Honey, Wallace is so sexy. This is perfect for a man. It is perfect for a woman. It is absolutely unisex, leaning unisex. And to be honest, gets a little bit more feminine in the dry down for me. Wallace comes, listen, here go the notes for Wallace, okay? It is lily of the valley, Scottish grass, Scottish bog, tonka bean, blood, and in parentheses, he has iron. You know, that like smell. Cedarwood, wisteria, clove, musk, rose, and lilac. And I'm telling you right now, that dry down is all clove, musk, rose, and lilac. You also get the tonka bean bleeding through and a little bit of the wisteria. It is so beautiful. It is so absolutely beautiful. This is everything I want to be wrapped up in the arms of, and everything that I wouldn't mind wearing myself. This is one I would definitely spray on about a good 30 minutes before I knew I was going to be at the office, because it's not the Scottish bog, Scottish grass part that I'm looking to leave in the scent trail, okay? Wallace lasted on me all day. It does get a little closer to the skin, probably halfway through, but I was not topping up at work. I'm sorry. That opening is a little bit too green. While it's not off-putting to me, it is not what I want to be known for. I told you guys that before. I'm really particular about the kind of scent profile I'm trying to have around people. So even though, again, it's not off-putting to me in the opening, it is the late mid and the dry down, baby. I'm here for Wallace. Wallace can ask me for my number and I'm giving it to him. I'm just saying. Last but not least, out of all of the fragrances we've talked about today, the fifth and final one is my favorite. This one is called Walawa. This one is so beautiful. The dry down is so powdery with the perfect amount of sweetness. It's absolutely feminine to me. The beginning, the opening, and the mid, unisex, perfect for everybody. But the dry down is all woman for me. I love this fragrance. The dry down reminds me so much of the dry down in Commodities Tonka. Like, Tonka for me is very masculine, not very masculine like negatively, but it's definitely something I would prefer more on a man. But then when you get to the dry down, it's all me. If I could just capture that dry down in a bottle from beginning to end, I wouldn't mind it being a linear fragrance. I just love the dry down of both. This one reminds me of that. It's beautifully powdery. There are no notes in here that make sense to me, other than if we take the combination of the lavender, the teak wood, and the sandalwood. Maybe that's what we're getting. But I just knew there might be some violet or some iris in here, or powdery notes, and there aren't. So the notes for Walawa are sandalwood, teak wood, patchouli, lavender, incense, thyme, cedar, and earth. Honey, this is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. It is sweet all the way through. Not sickeningly sweet, but a sweetness that prevents this from ever being a fragrance that you could call masculine. Even though it slightly smells a little masculine cologne-like in the beginning, it's too pure for that. For a man who uses synthetics, this stuff comes across so realistic, it is mind-blowing to me. This, I think, Walawa, for me, is perfection. I might even like this more than Ching Shi. And this is why I haven't made a move on a full bottle yet. Because I might be getting more than one full bottle, first of all. Especially now that my boy is set up with Afterpay and PayPal. And I want to let you guys know a little secret about that. I brought that to his attention because a couple of people in the Terror Squad asked me about that. They were like, look, I want to purchase Ching Shi. And somebody wanted to purchase Spartacus. And they... we're like, but you know, I can't necessarily just drop $225 or $300 in one swoop. Do you think he'll ever, be with Klarna or Sezzle or Afterpay? I took it to him, and 2 days later he had it set up. And then he also added PayPal too. And he told me that was specifically for me and the Terra Squad. Now, of course, anybody who wants to use it, he's doing it for them. But he's saying thank you to you guys for giving him that idea, because he hadn't even thought of it. So, and he does make things better for those people who can afford the 300, just not in one swoop. So now you got your little 4, payments that you can break it down over. So he has that now, in case that was what had you pausing for a full bottle. But this is exactly why I hadn't moved on a full bottle yet. I needed to know for sure exactly what I was going to be looking for and looking at, and which one I wanted to make a move on first, or which 2 or 3, depending on how many I want. I can say without a doubt the ones I know I want to own full bottles of are Wallace, Wallowa, and Ching Shi so far. And I still have 6 more fragrances to go through. So, man, I love this, y'all. The dry down of this is so pretty. I can't really say anything else other than that. And I'm going to tell you, Walawa and Wallace last all freaking day. All day. All day. All of these fragrances do, especially when you spray them on your clothes. They are not ones that are just you putting on, the one with the softest projection and shortest longevity is Ching Shi. And he already explained that was the oil concentration as far as projection. And it does last a good 10, 11 hours on the skin even, but I'm just going to get you some samples, or if the way I've described them or the way you've heard him describe them, or if anything you've read on the website, entices you, pick something up and live a little, have fun. But baby, I'm so impressed with Walawa. I don't even know. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed these 5 fragrance descriptions. Again, we have 6 more coming from the House of Xarmony Perfumes, and I'm excited about these 6 because, again, these are the ones that are the most talked about. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, fantastic. Let me know if you're curious about any of the ones I've talked about, the previous 3 or these. I just can't wait to dive into more of his fragrances. Please don't forget to click the like button. Also subscribe to my channel, join the Terra Squad, and click that notification bell so that you never miss any of my future uploads. I want to talk about all things Xarmony Perfumes in the comments. Have you watched the Instagram live of his yet? Did you pay attention to the comments he left in my last video? Have you picked up a sample set? Are you interested in getting you a full bottle? Let's just talk all things about this niche house. I want to get the buzz going. I do have quite a few other houses coming because people are sending me stuff and people are recommending stuff and I'm purchasing stuff. So I just really want to stay up on what is happening and changing in the perfume world. I know we're all pretty much bored with what we're experiencing with designers right now. So it is time to just find a new avenue until the designers get their stuff together. So let's talk in the comments. Until then,